Hey, welcome to the Runaways podcast. My name is Cody. We are back for another week, and still no Lucas. Not a single Lucas was seen. I don't even know if we've talked to Lucas recently. He's disappeared. So next time he's on the podcast, we literally had a meeting with him like 30 minutes before this. But the next time he'll be on the podcast, I have no idea. However, someone who has been missing from everyone's life for far too long is Dan, and Dan is back with some PQ updates. Everyone has been clamoring for some Dan. It's not just the favorite member of the podcast and the least favorite member of the podcast anymore. There's also Dan.
They do
So, but Dan, I want to hear about your PQ results. But before we get to that, a little bit of our topic we're going to talk about today. I have heard some sentiment going around that the game kind of sucks right now. So we are going to dive into that a little bit later about does the game actually suck? And no, we're not just talking about LL. But before that, Dan, how's your PQs been? Have you qualified yet? Are you still allowed to play the game? What's going on?
Yeah, it's not been good. Not even close to qualified, to be honest. I've been busy though. I've only been able to play. I played 2 early ProQuest, then I played one this past weekend. I'm not very likely to go to Japan either way, so I had to skip some for like other life happenings. But I started off the season with back-to-back ninth place finishes. Pretty sick. Both of them were just like off of breakers, like one less person's in the event and there's one less pair down and I make it in, but that's fine. I played Mario at 1 and then did a full 180 as I do to Fatigue Jarl. Had no fun playing that deck. It was like half my games were just non-games because we both know what's going to happen. I'm just going to block for the next 50 minutes and there's nothing they can really do about it. And then I lost to Scabs for the 2 games that I lost. It was just like, oh, I'm in a great spot. Hope you don't roll 2 action points 5 turns in a row and then 2 action points 5 turns in a row. So good times there. But last weekend was a lot of fun. This past weekend rather, I played Reacting Marionette. Finally went back to it. Went up to a game store in New York called Sip and Play. Pretty good turnout. I think we were like approaching 30 people. I don't know what it was. It's a small shop because it's in the city. But I did my usually I don't finish 9th. Usually I go undefeated in Swiss and then immediately get kicked out of the tournament in top 8, which is what occurred there. It was funny. After round 3, there's 4 undefeateds. So we're all locked and we're all at the same table. And I look around and it's Verdance, and I see Verdance, and I see Verdance. I was like, oh, look at that. It's a Marionette and all the Earth heroes. Cool. Love that. I took 2 of them down in Swiss and then immediately lost to 1 in top 8. So a lot of cool games, a lot of fun games. Not my best ProQuest season so far, but Marionette's feeling good.
We have not gone to the same tournament yet this season. Yeah. Are you going to Gilded?
No, I'm going to be on a cruise this weekend.
Womp womp. So we are not going to any of the same tournaments. I guess I will have to go win Gilded, hopefully.
Yeah, but my season might be over. I'm not sure. I might do 1 the weekend I get back, or the following weekend.
We will have to see. Noah, how was your PQs? Did you get another tactical second place?
Yeah, it was just super unfortunate. Just they had the nuts in the finals. There's nothing I could do to stop it, and I was defeated. But yeah, I played against a good friend, Dan. So I'm hype. It's not you, Dan. It's a different Dan. Although this Dan is also my good friend. And so yeah, I'm hyped for him to succeed. We played like 1 or 2 times at every ProQuest. We keep like matching up in Swiss and then at some point in the top cut. Yeah, so I played KO Armed and Dangerous again. First ProQuest was somewhere in the 30 of people. I think it was like 34 or something like that. So just hit that 6-round threshold. Then I played another one on Sunday. I wasn't intending on playing at that one because it's like an hour and 40 minutes drive from me. And I have the luxury of having so many events closer that I didn't need to go to that one. But at like 3 a.m., I decided, what else am I going to do on my Sunday? I might as well go play some more FAB. And I regretted that decision immediately. I got there and like for some reason there was infinite either people with animals or just something in the air was giving me insane allergies. So not my best performance. Ended up getting ninth, and I think it was probably for the better that I didn't stay to play top 8 because I would have been even more miserable. But um, yeah, the both the stores that I went to are great, and like just unfortunate happenstance of allergy attack. But outside of allergy attack, KO Armed and Dangerous attack has still been treating me very well. I really enjoy having the number that I'm attacking for be greater than 10. It's very satisfying.
I can
Um,
relate.
yeah, especially with Marionette, like making it 10 when they thought it was 1. Um, so yeah, I think the deck has been performing well for me at least. There was a decent amount of people there who had kind of taken the list that I played at the AGE and just basically one for one played it at the tournament and had pretty good success on both days. So it was nice to see that too. A little win for the deck list, even if I didn't do as well on Sunday.
Yeah, I've been slowly seeing a lot of the ideas from the KO Metafy guide, and then also, which involves a lot of your deck lists that you've been playing,
Mhm.
popping up more and more. I just keep recognizing more and more cards in people's KO lists. I'm like, I know where you got that from. But they're doing well, so
Yeah.
can't blame them. I got another second place on Gravy Bones, unfortunately. At my only PQ this weekend, because I was not going to travel like 2 hours to go into New York City to play. It's just I hate traveling into New. I barely like going into Philly. I'm not going to go into New York. But it was great. I played a good smattering of decks, and then I just played infinite variances in the in the top 8. But I have been liking Gravy. It's just that one day you will get second at a PQ, and the next day you will not top 8 your charity event that you go to, and you're just like, why does the deck work this way? Like one day you're just like, man, this deck's great. The next day the deck is unfunctional, and it's kind of how a lot of the decks feel right now. It's decently hard, unless you have like some massive skill edge to just do consistently well. I've found, but you get there if you play the good decks. I am going to, for the Metafy, for anyone that's our Gilded tier, I am putting out for the Gravy deck list this month. I'm going to put out the PQ list that I've been getting second place with. And it has no Fables in it. So it is very as budget friendly as the Gravy deck could possibly get. So we'll put that out with sideboards as well. But anything else for your PQ weekend? Is it one more? You guys have one more?
I think I have 2 more
Next weekend?
Yeah, I have like as many as I want. I don't know.
weekends rather.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like I could potentially do 2 this weekend, 2 the next weekend if I wanted to drive
wow.
decently far. But my plan is just to do one this weekend, and this is the one at my local store, the one that's like 15 minutes away. So my headcanon was that at the start of the season I would go and win. So I'm surely going to go 0-3.
Yeah, I have one next weekend, which is Gilded, that I'm excited to go to. That's my last chance to actually win and not get second place. So that one, I'm either going to fail, or I'm going to get first place. Those are the only 2 options. If not, worst case, I'll use a PTI. However, the weekend after that, on November 1st or 2nd, I'm going to be going to Green Tree Sports Cards in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're inviting me and everyone else who's listening to this to join us for a weekend of competitive FAB for your chance at a share of $10,000. Green Tree Sports Cards is hosting a $10,000 cash prize CC event on Saturday, November 1st, and then a 2.5K Living Legends event on Sunday, November 2nd. Plenty of win-a-box side events and some incredible charity raffles as well, with 100% of the proceeds going to support local food banks. You could register at the website gscfab.com. There'll also be a link below, but I'm pretty excited to do that. It's always nice when you have like a local 10K to go to, and then also like a Living Legends event the next day. So I will be driving out on Friday and spending the night in Pittsburgh that weekend. So
You think the Living Legend event there will be bigger than the last Battle Harden we just had?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be bigger than
Yeah,
the
I'm pretty
Battle
confident it
Harden.
will be too. That sounds sick.
Yeah, and it's Green Tree, so everyone around this area knows about them. They're a great store. to go to as well. Okay, so we did have some PQ results to talk about as well, and they were very nice. They're not treating us like children. They just put back the number of total wins that decks had and stop trying to obfuscate how many actual events there were for Living Legend. So it's nice for them to treat us like adults. The Living Legend wins, there were 3 events. Starvo won 2 of them, and Briar won 1 of them. Perfect data.
Yep. Yeah, meta seems balanced to me. No changes.
No Rube Blades, no Chains, no nothing won. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, now for the classic constructed wins. We had a flip. Syndra is the most winningest deck. So like week 1 was like Gravy, and then week 2 was Verdance. Now it's week 3 is Syndra. And Syndra had 30 total wins. Verdance right behind at 23. Gravy at 17. And then KO coming up there, creeping back up with 12 wins. Dash.io right behind at 11. Anything surprising here? It's still the big 3, right?
Yeah, still the big 3. And then I think KO and DO make sense to be numbers 4 and 5 of just being decks that can go super fast and going fast. If you're faster than Syndra, you win. If you defeat Gravy by killing him before he gets, the ball rolling, you win. And similar thing with Verdant. So I think KO and Dio kind of attack those decks in a similar angle of just killing them super fast.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm not super surprised. We have a very clear 3 best decks. Like it's pretty much undisputed. And not always does PQ events reflect what we think the meta looks like, but I think this has been reflecting what we think the meta is. It's like Syndra, Verdance, and Gravy are the 3 best decks in the game. And then there are a couple of ones that are following right behind there. And then there's like kind of a shelf down for the rest of the decks.
Yeah.
It's sort of how it feels. Unfortunately, Kano down to 4 wins. I think we're running out of Kano players. I think that's
going to be close.
That is my suspicion, is that we are slowly running out of Kano players. And I don't think Kano's going to actually LL. There's like no points. If you go and look at it, he still needs like 50 something points.
Unless he wins one of the ProQuest pluses coming up, that's CC, then yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
I thought it needed like six wins per weekend or something.
Yeah, but he just got 4 this past week. So
so we could spike like 10 next weekend, maybe.
There are not enough Kano players, I think, to actually win with the deck. They've all been eliminated. Like we've already had like roughly 16 wins or 15 wins or something on the deck. So like that's most of the Kano players in the world. They're done.
There were 0 at my event on Sunday, notably.
There's been like 1 at a couple of my events, and then a lot of them are actually just playing Verdance now, to be fair.
Yep.
Or Acilio. That's kind of the 2 directions that most of the Kano players in my area have gone. Besides that, I don't really see anything super surprising. Anything else on any of the PQ results?
It's kind of funny you say, by the way, that you go from Kano to Acilio, because do they even share like a single card the same? Old Knocker, I guess. the wizard table. Because all the spells Acilio plays, Kano doesn't play really, right?
No.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
It's accurate, though. Most Kano players that I know went to Verdance or Acilio or both.
It's just ironic. Like, yeah, they share the wizard tag, but they literally share 0 of the same cards besides Old Knocker.
Yeah, it's just, you're just doing a combo, but with attacks now. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a very similar feeling of how the deck plays.
Sure.
Okay, sure. Let's talk about the main topic. Obviously, with LL going around, I've heard quite often LL sucks. So we can cover that later. But I have been hearing in general that the game kind of sucks right now. And here's the premise I'll put forward, and then we can talk about if we think this is accurate or not. And excluding LL for right now, because I think almost everyone agrees LL sucks. But the actual main game, a lot of the things I've heard, we have a very obvious 3 best decks that exist in the game, with them all attacking on a different angle, creating the triangle. But we have either the game is a little bit boring to play right now, or the game is also everything's inconsistent. Has been the other complaint that I've heard. And that's kind of the whole game on the CC side. I know I personally feel like the game is not in a great spot of where it's been previously. I thought a couple of the past metas have been better and more fun to play. Obviously, I'm playing a lot of FAB right now, but I'm still having fun when I go out to my PQs. But for the most part, I don't feel like I have a lot of agency or control over if I win or do well, or even if the game goes well, because a lot of the decks are just hoping that they see the cards in the correct order. And if they do, then you get to play the game, and then you make real decisions. I'm not saying there's no agency. I'm just saying the agency feels rather low because all of the decks do powerful things sometimes. It's just that they don't do powerful things consistently enough for it to be a macro game plan type of format. I will open it up if anyone has any other thoughts then.
Yeah, I think it's just like very solved, the meta. Like it's mostly a boredom thing for me. Like it's so clear what the best decks are. Like 40 health wizard's kind of alarming. Um and then like the rest of the decks, like you're saying, like there's kind of counter meta picks, and then there's just like other generally good decks, but all of them are just hoping to draw in a better order than the opponent, feels like now. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like hard to get creative to attack the meta or anything like that. Mostly, I think because of how like diverse Gravy and Verdance and Syndra play. Like you need very different things to attack all these heroes. Like Syndra, obviously you want to like disrupt and reduce their hand size so they're not getting mass triggers. Verdance is asking you to convert your hand offensively every turn, or you just get buried by a bunch of big spells and unpreventable damage. And then Gravy's just a whole nother headache. I hope to never play against Gravy again. That'd be the best flesh of blood for me. As long as Chum's still around. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of rough. Like Verdance and Gravy, I think both feel honestly all three top decks feel pretty terrible to play against. It's not like Mistveil bad, but it's like if you can't attack Cinder profitably, Mask gets pretty frustrating. Gravy is just always frustrating because hardly any decks can address their allies in like an advantageous way. And then Verdance is just kind of ridiculous. Like, why does a 40 health wizard have 6 ways to deal 9 arcane now, and they're not even playing like red Emeritus Scolding? So I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, at least for me.
Do you think it's also part of this boredom factor that Super Slam didn't introduce any interesting heroes for CC? Like, sure, people can now have their like pet deck, but it was nothing on the level of Gravy where people went in the lab for hundreds of hours and still came out feeling like they hadn't solved the deck yet. We kind of didn't really encounter any puzzles like this with Super Slam, so and also the ban list. Sure, it touched the consistency of Gravy, but at the end of the day, it didn't really do that much. Like the Florian unban was irrelevant. The Bonds hit like toned
I gotta
down
do a quick rant on that.
yeah, like the Bonds hit like toned down some of the spike turns that were potential from the Mark Assassins.
Yeah. No, it felt a
So
lot
I
like
think
the
it's yeah, go ahead.
I'd say that band felt a lot like when we had the Fi Oldhim meta, and they looked at Oldhim as the best deck, and they're like, oh, surely we have to get rid of Belittle so Fi can't win any games anymore. That's what the Bonds fan feels like to me now, where it was like, yeah, Gravy got taken down a notch from like best deck in format to tied for best deck in format, and the Assassins are like Slippy's over in the corner, not even close to playable. Mario's
Well,
like
what I was
kind
trying
of
to say
okay.
is that by hitting Bonds, it's sort of like hitting Tipple in that you remove 6 Tipple from the deck, and by removing Bonds of Agony, you also remove the ability to transform into it with the yellow reaction, take up the mantle. It's like you kind of hit 6 Bonds out of the deck. And so by removing 6 cards that increase, like, what does an ideal turn look like for both of those decks, right? The ideal either Slippy or Mario turn involves casting a Bonds of Agony and ideally resolving it. And then the ideal Gravy turn is using Tipple to bin an ally, playing some blue, summoning back the ally, making it gold, hooking at some point during the turn. So like you basically just took away 6 cards from both of those decks that were part of what their ideal turn looked like. And they can still have strong turns, both of them, but now it's much more convoluted to assemble. So it kind of just leaves I'm going to get into why I don't think the game sucks, by the way, but this is my one sucky part.
Oh, I think it's
is that
fine.
like
I'm just a little bit bored.
yeah, it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth because there's no way to solve it. Like it's boring in a sense of, okay, we could think of solutions, but all these solutions have their own problems. The card pool of Flesh and Blood as a game is just not deep enough to be inventive and come up with a real solution that's viable in a tournament meta. So that's why it's just kind of boring because like there is no new answer. Every answer you introduce just like has its own problems.
Yeah, I agreed. I have to let me add one thing, Cody, and then I'll give it to you. My biggest issue with the game right now is that I do want to get creative and solve this meta, or like just commit to what I think the best deck is. But there's another ban announcement a week before the World Championship, so I don't know what I'm doing with my time right now. Like, what's the point of any of this until we know what's legal? So that's like a whole other headache that I'm having. But what do you think,
I
Cody?
mean, to be fair, they said only in emergencies, but we don't know what the barometer of emergency means.
Yeah, that like means
So
actual nothing. Like this Verdant state is kind of crazy.
yeah, so we will see. I do also not like that we are not told explicitly this is the meta. Go prep for it. So it makes it a little tough. I want to talk about a couple of different aspects of the meta that make more sense. So this is the card for me. We've gone through metas and we've kind of like given them names. For me, this feels like the most card gamey meta we've had in a while, where I feel like I'm playing a card game. And what I mean by that is like almost all the decks are relatively the same power level, and they all relatively do powerful things that can be fun. Like when you're doing the Dio thing, it is fun. When you're doing like the Syndra or the Verdance or the Acilio or the Kasai. I mean, I love playing Kasai. Like all these are like fun to do. KO, everything, both KOs in my mind. I have fun playing, but they don't do the things consistently enough that it's like that you're now banking on it and going to make a game plan, how to attack the other deck. So if I sit down from KO, they can have like literally do nothing turns to like 30 damage rounds. And I don't know what I'm playing against when I sit down. Like, I just don't know how the game's going to go. So I just have like a general, like, if they don't go 3 wide too many times, or maybe if they, oh no, now this is coming in for 18. This is one attack for 18. Like, what is happening? Oh, I can't block this card because I'm going to flip cards off the top. Oh, wait, it was fine. My card was bigger than theirs. So I guess I didn't get any downside from that. There is no way to really plan on what the deck's going to do because you don't know how strong it's going to come at you. Or if they just like triple Blood Rush you, there's like Blood Rush, next turn Blood Rush, next turn Blood Rush. You're like, that's a completely different game than like Blood Rush in the early game. And then like 5 rounds of playing normal Fab where they're like they're trying to play their numbers well and they're trying to play their own variants, and then a Blood Rush later versus Blood Rush, Blood Rush, Blood Rush. Like these are all like way different games. And that's how it feels against like every deck I play against. Sometimes I'm playing against Gravy and they're playing ley lines and they're smacking me in the mouth. And they're putting a guy on the board and they're throwing a red attack at the same time. And other times they're just like, I'm going to play a guy from my hand and pass. And you're like, how do you game plan for this? Because sometimes it feels super easy and sometimes it feels super hard. And Mario's a good one. I've been complaining to Dan about like Dagger Mario, that every time I play against them, they just send a dagger at me for 18 for 3 rounds straight. And he's like, the deck doesn't always do that. And I'm like, it always does it against me. I don't how do I game plan for this? And you're like, well, they only do that sometimes. And then you play against Mario the other times and they have like a turn where they're like, dagger for 2 go again, pass.
Pitch 2
like,
reds.
Pitch 2 reds. And you're just like, but this is every deck in the game. It's just like this inconsistent. And you're just like, it's really hard to make a game plan. It feels like I'm just playing a card game. Like this is the first time in a long time when I'm playing Fab, I feel like I'm just playing a card game.
I think that's a good take. And I think Gravy and Verdance are like amplify this the most. Like, at least from the Mario perspective, every turn of the game against those 2 decks, especially Verdance, I'm saying I hope these things don't happen and this does happen. Like every time I flick, I'm just like, I hope I bark you. It's like huge impact if it does or doesn't. And then like anytime I'm setting a card, it's like, I hope you don't have Plow Under. It's like wildly different games if you do versus you don't. And it's like actual every turn, there's like 2 or 3 like checks of, do you just have this thing at this turn?
Agreed.
And that's card games.
No, you have a comment here?
Sure, I'll have a comment, yeah. I think a lot of this that you talk about, sure, it's sometimes something you just have to admit that, okay, whatever, I have no counterplay. I have to arsenal this card and hope you don't have the Plow Under. But I think there's a lot of times where you actually have some calculus to do of like, based on how they've been playing, whether they're likely to have a Plow Under that's already in their arsenal versus a different card in their arsenal. So, like, for example, if they already have a card in their arsenal and you've assumed it's not going to be a Plow Under just based on how they've played previous turns, then, okay, now I'm going to be safe and arsenal my card because they're not going to plow themselves. Just like as an example, or if you're doing like a Conqueror of the High Seas check, you can play in a way where you're forcing them to take lots of damage to come back with the Conqueror. And the lines usually where you play Conqueror are if you want to play Conqueror and have guys on the board, not just let your opponent block out the Conqueror and just reset and go next, are like usually 5-card hands, or they had to have already gotten a lot of gold, which could have been mitigated earlier. So I think in both instances of cards where you have to take a bit of a risk of you're going to arsenal and set up, I think you can make some sort of educated guesses as to whether it'll be successful or not. Y'all both made so many facial expressions
that is sometimes
agree
true.
with me.
I have almost, I don't know what that was in reference to. Like, that's a very specific example of like something to play around. But my complaint is that the decks completely operate differently in games. Like, sometimes you play against Verdance, they turn on in 3 turns. That's a completely different game than the Verdance that takes 8 rounds to turn on.
Dan referenced both Plow Under and Conqueror,
Okay,
and
sure,
when he was talking about like sometimes I have to arsenal a card and just hope. This is what I was.
Yeah, but that's more
stuff.
situations where I don't have agency. Like, I'm not saying like I can deduce things. It's
Well,
more
like you
like
do have agency. How do you not have agency? You play a deck with daggers. Like, you could always just like pitch your card to a dagger if you wanted to.
Okay, so they're presenting a felling and they're not setting, right? Do I block 2 cards and set, or do I block 3 cards? I don't know if they're drawing a Plow Under in the next hand. That's like the exact situation that would occur.
But you can analyze based on their graveyard how likely they are to
it's
both draw a
castable,
Plow Under
obviously.
and cast it. What's up?
Yeah, they haven't seen one. It's castable.
They haven't seen one, and it turns them on to 8 decompose if they do draw.
No, it's probably like 6. I don't know. I think that's relevant.
Well, that is relevant because then you're incentivizing them to cast the Plow Under and IP a card if you do arsenal. Whereas if you like throw your attack, then maybe they don't.
No, it's never throw. It's always like block 9 or block 6 set.
Yeah, so you have 2 options. I felt
yes, but the option only works if I know if they have a Plow Under or not. I'm saying in the game, usually you have to like
your
take
opponent
this
is
risk.
drawing 4 cards and they have a Plow Under. You're saying they also are drawing Plow Under and exactly Fruits of the Forest to not IP themselves?
Or E-Strike.
What does the Verdance do on 4 cards outside of having exactly Fruits, which most lists these days just play the blue?
Well, this is not true. There's Fruits, there's E-Strike, there's the 1 cost that heals 3 times.
Heartbeat.
They got lots of plays.
Okay. They have like maybe 9 cards, sure.
Anyway, the point is, usually in the game, it's like, if I'm behind, I have to set. And I just hope you don't have it. I'm saying the entire game plays out this way.
Like, why is that? I feel like that's just something that's always existed in FAB of you have to make riskier plays if you're behind.
I think this is just a bad example.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just talking about different things at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to say the Verdance matchup, what Cody was saying occurs like twice a turn every turn.
Yeah, the card gamey thing, Cody, I'll give another example of when I played into a Verdance on Sunday. There was literally my turn 1 going second. My hand is 2 blues, a Tear Limb from Limb, and a Show of Strength. When I cast this Tear Limb from Limb, I draw another blue, which means if I discard one of the 2 blues in my hand, I can do Claw into Show of Strength for 16. So I'm presenting 19 with a Might on the back. So like 4 card 20. 67% chance of that happening. But then if I discard the Show of Strength, now I'm just presenting Gloves into Swing and Attack for 11. So it's like a 9-point value swing off of just this RNG, which is where I agree with you completely that having these elements exist in the game is not really. I mean, it's FAB in the literal sense of these are cards that have been around for a while, but it feels like not the kind of FAB that we like.
But it's even, I don't even care about it that much from the angle of if I'm playing KO, because like I understand that this is kind of how the game plays when I play KO. And we've talked about it previous episode of you're just seeing the variance in your face, like the variance exists behind the scenes most of the time, and this time it's actually like just very obvious. I'm talking about from the other side of the board.
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm saying from
like
my
you
opponent
could just hit me for 19 this turn, or you could play normal FAB. How do I game plan for this deck?
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I was talking more from my opponent's POV of
Oh,
like,
okay.
are they taking basically an entire extra turn worth of damage off of this random chance right now? Like,
Yeah.
do they basically get a whole 8 life back or not? And they don't have any control over the result.
Yeah. And maybe it's fine to have a meta that's more card gamey. I just find it kind of boring. Like, it's kind of boring because I sit down and then like I know they're playing in a powerful deck and I'm playing a powerful deck. And if we both do the powerful things, we get a good game. And if we both do the bad things, we normally get a pretty okay game. But if one of us does the powerful thing and the other one can't play the game, because a lot of these decks just have like non-functional failure states. Like, not even like, I mean, like 4-card 3 failure states. Like, if you're playing Gravy, and Gravy is a great example, you sometimes just have 4-card zeros. Like, literally can't do anything. And you say, oh, well, that's kind of an exception. Dio sometimes has 4-card zeros as well, or 4-card 2s because you can swing with the weapon, right? Like,
Yeah.
And this is like, it's passed down through a lot of different decks that have this issue. And it's just not how Fabs usually felt. Like, yeah, there's always some of these decks, but this is every deck. I think it's one of the reasons Verdance is so good right now is because, one, she's fairly consistent, even though she is playing the can I get turned on in time RNG game, but she has like the guaranteed 8 damage on her boots, and that's just kind of good enough to get over people's bad variants of their deck, like when it fails.
Yeah, I mean, you
That's
just like
it.
stall out in the late game and
Yeah.
force them to convert 5-card hands to finish you. Otherwise, they just chip until boots kill them, right?
Yep. And if they have like, they're good, if you have that 19 damage turn at the beginning against a Verdance, you could stumble a little bit because that's how all the decks work right now. And they just heal back up and then they boots you later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have the ability to like overcome you having good variance at one point. This is like one of the reasons, and most decks can't do that right now. And most decks are just like, in order to function, they just need to draw the stuff. I had wildly different games as Gravy. Sometimes I sit down and my opponent literally can't play the game at all. Like, I'm just smushing them. And sometimes I sit down and I take 4 turns, no actions. It's just 4 turns in a row. My deck doesn't function. I just have to put cards in front of cards as best as I can and just pass until I can try and play the game. And it's weird. It's just Fab's never been this. This is never how Fabs worked before. And I think that's where the frustration comes from. With that said, like, it's still Fab. It's still fun to play. I have decks I really enjoy playing. They're just unplayable in this format right now.
I'm curious if maybe this is I just thought of this now, so this is not a very fleshed out idea. I'm sorry, but like if you look at the top decks now of Syndra, Verdance, Gravy, none of those decks have a real weapon in the traditional sense.
Mhm.
You have Syndra has daggers, but you play like 6 blues at most. Your turn cycle isn't actually pitching to swing daggers. Verdance, Waning Moon, you have to actually have cards that play the game to play it, and same thing with Gravy, right? You just don't have any fails, like, card you can fall back on. I guess my rant last week about talking about how they don't introduce weapons to the game is like, this is the next evolution of that, where they made a lot of these decks have the additional consistency drop off and that they don't have real weapons. So I think that's what leads to a lot of these failure states of you can't just block in weapon and it like do something on offense, right? If you're experiencing this failure, your rate is just so bad because you have to convert your cards into physical, like not physical in the sense of literally physical, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to convert your cards in hand to the damage as opposed to just putting them in the pitch zone and damage appearing.
I mean, Mario's very similar. If you draw the wrong side of the deck, so sometimes your hands just do nothing. They block for 2 and they swing no damage.
In some versions of the deck, yeah.
Yeah, some versions. True. But
yeah, Mario is a little bit of a different story in that like you're making a choice there to build your deck such that you're playing cards that are more situational. Where
but
in the other
Yeah,
decks,
but
I
you
just
can't
don't
help
think
when
have
you go
much of a choice.
second and you have all reds that don't have go again and no way to equip Chalicera. You just gotta do your 2-card one and move on.
yeah, the Mario deck can suck until they get a card, like get an equipment piece that they don't start with.
Mm-hmm.
They have to equip the weapon from their deck, and then then the deck's like doesn't really brick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I look at the decks that are consistent, right? Like Kasai or like Victor to a certain extent, or Florian or whatever you want to go down, consider a consistent deck. But all these decks suck into Verdance. And that's like, so there isn't like an option, like you can't opt out of the variance, like the card gaminess. You can't opt out of it because you can't beat Verdance. I mean, if someone out there has a Kasai deck that beats Verdance, let me know. I'll play it at Worlds. But you can put it in the comment section below. But because I love playing that deck. But
Me too.
I just look down the list of ones, and you go to like, okay, this is a consistent deck where at least your hands resolve for something most of the time, or they block, and it's like cannot beat Verdance. Okay, unplayable. Like, just put it off to the side because Verdance is too highly played at this point. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a tough meta because it feels like it's solvable, and then it's just probably isn't solvable.
Yeah, I've kind of resorted to not solving and just whatever deck I'm playing, make it as consistent as possible because every other deck is just not consistent right now. So just anytime that happens, I want to make sure I'm winning and not also bricking.
I think one merit of the game right now is that both Syndra and Verdance, I think, with the current builds, are pretty simple to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that we have a time period where two of the top decks are very easily like you can just pick it up, play a couple games to understand like literally what the cards do, and then be able to play at 90% capacity, I think.
Agreed. I don't know. Tough meta. I want to play things like RKO. I want to play things like Lyeth. These are not real. Well, RKO is kind of real, but Lyeth is not as real as I was hoped. Unless you have a good Lyeth deck, you can put that in the comments below. I'll play that as well.
We're just gonna have essays in the comments, dude, of all these.
I hope every week I put out into ether the things that I wish for, and they don't appear in the comment section, unfortunately. But one of these days they might. Mm-hmm. They could submit to me my Worlds deck for all I know. I don't know. Any other thoughts on the current CC meta, just in general? It's just kind of boring.
Yeah, that's how I would sum it up. I think it's fine. I don't think it's like problematic. I do think Wizard with 40 health is kind of ridiculous, but
okay. We have to clarify, by the way, when we say boring, we mean boring in a sense of there's no way to arrive at a solution, so the solution is just to give up. Not boring in a sense of there's not exciting things happening in the game. There are certainly exciting things happening in the game, so we don't need to dial up the variance and make it more exciting. It's not. It's not.
Yeah. That's fair.
I just want to clarify because I don't want.
There's
I don't
plenty
want
of variance.
next post to be like, "Hey, y'all said the game was boring, so we dialed it up. We made it even."
No, you summed it up well.
If the game was actually boring, I would be having so much fun. If we could just we're playing a Kachikori boring deck, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And maybe there are definitely people out there that probably like this meta of deck that it feels very, card gamey. They can sit down, they can, win a lot of matchups, even when whether it's favored or unfavored, because decks just don't function. But I'm very much a macro type of game plan player for a lot of the times, and it's very hard to macro game plan this meta. Like, it's just step 1, does deck function? Step 2, you have no control over that. Like, so you just hope.
It's also just crazy. More Fable rants too. It's just crazy they printed Authority of Ataya as well. Like, that's just one of those cards too. It's like, oh, I have my game plan. I'm gonna use my 0 for 4s to counter them, and then, oh, I guess I lost the game. I just drew 2 D-Reacts.
And they just pitch the blue. They don't even notice. Have you ever played against a player who they're just pitching it and playing their turn, and you look over and you're like, they didn't even mention that they pitched this card. And you look down, you have 2 D-Reacts, and you're like, come on.
That's completely improper. What I do, I play my card, and I look up at them, and I point to my pitch zone. I said, the Authority effect is active. Be aware.
I've had people just pitch Authority, not realize they pitched Authority, and I'm just looking at my D-Reacts, looking at them like, I noticed you pitched Authority, so now I have to pay one. You don't understand how screwed I am of that blue you just pitched.
Yeah. 0 cost.
Zero cost. Get boned. 0 cost. Your opponent discards a card.
Yeah.
Oh, so strong. Okay. We'll talk about LL. LL is like a dumpster fire right now, right? Like there's just
I don't know. I think it's great.
You think it's great?
Yeah.
Triple Warmogs, no data, bunch of Rune Blades are winning, Viscerai's winning, Starvo's winning.
I mean, no one is surprised though, right? Like, this is everything we called from the beginning. It's like, there's no way this possibly can work out well.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
it's
Just,
pretty
it's going to be
like
what it is.
the data just if it shows anything, it just shows that okay, here's all these cards that we banned because they were problems, and all the heroes we banned because they were problems. Okay, now play all the problems. Surely they won't be problems again.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole concept of the format is incredibly flawed for this type of setting. So it's I don't know. I've given up. Whatever the format is, I'll play chain and hopefully we don't play it again.
I don't know. It almost felt like the meta was better before all the bannings.
I think it was. I don't know. That's just because no one was playing it.
That was because
I
no one
don't.
had
How can you
seen
even say there
RuneGate
was
chain
like
yet.
there's just like not even a meta ever. It just people
Yeah.
play what they want to play.
I think we just had fun in Chicago because we got to play chain versus Starvo, and that's fun.
Maybe. I don't know. A lot of people are
I
having
don't
fun.
know. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's unfixable, unsavable. But I hope I'm wrong. We'll see.
Noah, do you think this is the final version of LL that we're going to play at Worlds?
Like, will they ban cards? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh, they're certainly going to ban cards. If nothing, they're consistent in the fact that they will make some kind of shakeup.
Despite saying they won't shake it up.
Yeah, but it's going to happen. There'll be something.
Good.
I just love that they warmongers back in the meta. The battle hardened they have all rune
Oops, all
blades.
rune blades.
It's so funny to me. I mean, there's only 34 people. There's only 34 people. It's not a real event. Like,
Yeah.
Also, like warmongers, if you think about the way that the warmongers actually affects the game is it has to be drawn on a very specific turn, and the opponent who's casting the warmongers has to not have taken 1 million damage to cast it, and they have to do something proactive on the next turn to keep the rune blade in the box. So even though the card is strong, there's still like a lot of circumstances where casting it doesn't immediately lead to defeat from the rune blade. So I think that's why you just kind of play it, because you can live in scenario 1, they don't have it in their deck. Scenario 2, they can't efficiently cast it because they either didn't draw it or it just doesn't work with how their hand works, and the opponent has an anemic turn because they cast warmongers instead of doing something proactive. So like all these scenarios mean, sure, I'll just play the deck that has the more powerful engine, and if you have the card on the exact right timing, I'll take a minus 10% to my win rate. It's still high enough.
Well, the
Or-
good rune blades also have counterplay. Like they both just make 10 rune chance. Like whatever.
or
Back
Of
up
course,
piece.
of course.
you have forgotten the other thing. No one played the card.
But that was
The
number
battle-
one. It's not in the deck.
There
Yeah.
was only like 2
Yeah.
Starvos in the whole tournament. Like, there's like a couple of Zen. Now, there's a bunch of decks that can't run warmongers, so like those don't count. But then but if the meta was like 20% Starvos all with warmongers, these decks aren't going anywhere. Like, it's gonna happen in too many rounds where you just get warmongers and lose the game. Like, it's like a
I don't see how that's the case though. Like when I cast warmongers, I paid 3 life, right? Because I didn't block on the previous turn, and the warmongers doesn't deal you 40 damage. It doesn't just like erase your health bar. Like the warmongers
Well, it
doesn't
does,
actually
to
win you the
some
game.
heroes.
No, but one second. And
Sure.
you're also playing warmongers typically in decks that aren't doing 1 million damage. Sure, into chain if you hit it on the right turn and the chain
That's what
like
I
ends
meant,
up
yeah.
killing themselves with blood debt. But I'm talking about the broader spectrum of the meta. Like
Yeah.
there's Zen is probably and maybe Aurora, but Aurora is probably
Starvo.
playing for Flicker with Spark Lightning. But
and Starvo.
no, but I think both the Starvo decks didn't play it that were
Yeah,
at
but
the event.
Starvo playing hypo and warmongers and then just using that as the turn to look for crayons is like incredibly powerful when they're
But what do you
playing
mean look
into
for
you.
crayons? You look at the top 4 cards of your deck. They either exist or they don't. Like
Correct,
what
but
do you
it
mean
tells
look?
your opponent to leave me alone so I can resolve my hand without having to block.
Yeah, but you still have to draw the crayons next turn.
Sure.
And if you just don't, then the warmongers was useless.
The deck does more than that. Like, it lets you play a 4-card hand for free without taking damage.
Hey, it's
But
not
if
a
you have
channel
crayons,
down.
the 4-card hand does nothing. It
What
swings
about a little
a-
CLF? That's pretty good, I think.
But then what were you
But-
going to do? You're going to call peace to Starvo? Come on.
Oh, you're so
No.
right.
You're gonna call war. I'm just saying.
You're going to call war. You're going to draw CLF and be like, what am I doing with my life?
And then you're gonna throw attacks at them.
What are you going to throw? Autumn's Touch for 7. Powerful. Like, come on. It's so much has to line up for it to actually work out. And
that is-
you're just
that is
talking about
Starvo.
chain where it's actually good. Like, where you're actually time walking them compared to the other rune blades who can just not care. Like, Briar can just like cast Rabbles and Scars and stuff. Like they don't have to care every time, right? Viscera can make a billion chance.
I agree with the sentiment. I think you're a little too overtuned on it, though. This is how I feel about Overcrowded. I think Warmongers is like a bit more reliable than that. But I agree overall that unless
don't
I
know,
just think
it's not the big
it's
of a
not
deal.
so game breaking that I'm gonna not play my hero because the card's at 3. This is like my TLDR.
But like nothing is, and that's why the format just doesn't work.
That's why the
Like,
format is bad. Yeah,
you can never
because
not
there's like
play
no control
Chain and
tools that
Starvo.
are there's no control tools that are reliable that have long impact, like something like CLF, where if I keep CLF around for multiple turns, then it's really slowing the game down and letting me make progress while I'm under the CLF.
I mean, that's just not
Dude,
what that
your head.
format's about.
One second. What is up with your headrest, Dan? That thing is flopping like a fish. Every
So
time
when
you move, it just goes like this.
Yeah, so when we moved into this house, the movers like broke my chair.
Oh no.
They like reimbursed some amount of money, not enough to buy a new chair, so I just have the money in a broken chair.
I see.
It's really
Okay,
just the
continue,
headrest
continue.
that's like it's like loose and wobbly. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Good question.
I do think Warmongers is not great if you're playing a block fatigue deck against like Chain and Viscera specifically. But it's always been good in the past at any deck that's playing aggressive that can also run Warmongers. It just wins the game.
Agree, but
Some
I
percentage
think
of
a
the
lot of
time.
those times too, you can just do like imagine you do like a full Zen turn, and then you end the chain with like a weakest link or something in the mirror match, and you're like, okay, now you like can't come back at me because I weakest linked you, or you end with any sort of like disruptive attack at the end. I feel like it kind of has a similar effect if that disruptive attack matters. Warmongers is just like more impactful than those cards often, but it's still the same sentiment. I feel.
I mean, Warmongers.
Like I have my Mordred Tide in Arsenal as Viscera, and you like end the chain after doing 1 million attacks. I take all the damage. You end on a CNC.
Yeah, that's only true for Viscera though. Like Chain wants to be blocking 6.
I don't know, man.
Your cards
I'm
in your
trying.
banner zone, not your hand.
Yeah. You draw an extra hand.
Where
after you
Warmonger says like you just
block
got
with your
got.
hand.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
I agree it's strong in a chain, but y'all are just like chain build. You don't think about the other heroes.
That's all I think. Why would you think about anything else? It's Living Legend. That's not part of the format, I thought.
My point is that if more people had played the decks that play Warmongers, then like these decks that we saw that did well wouldn't do as well because you just lose games to it. It's like the same way of like if enough people are playing Awakening even at 1, you're still gonna lose games to Awakening because Awakening's like an incredibly powerful card. It's just like when there's only 2 Starvos in the field, like you don't have to worry about this stuff. These are the problems with LL.
Do we think Warmonger scared off all the Dios? Because those, I think, are pretty well positioned for Throne Blades as well.
I don't know. The Dios never showed up. No one's playing this deck except for locally. On like the local level, it was just like terrorizing everywhere. And then you go to like any battle hardened, there's like no Dios in the entire room, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I really hope it's not Dirge that gets hit, because that's like the worst possible optics I could imagine, that you unban Dirge and then have to ban it again after.
In the Armory deck, right? So I think they just like that's why they unbanned it and they can't reban it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Do you know what colors are in the Armory deck?
Oh.
I would assume it's just red.
Yeah. I mean, they could absolutely restrict Dirge to one color type. Like just you can only play one color type of Dirge. Like,
and they can do whatever they want.
How bad are we to play blue Dirge? Come on. There's no way.
Well, sure. But I'm just saying like 3 red Dirges is all you really need. You don't need to also play the yellows.
I know. So then why would they? It would be a useless ban if they just said you could play the reds.
Yeah.
I just think any bans at this point are like, what's the point? You're just like creating a different horribly flawed format at the last minute.
I think.
Look,
I think
the people have spoken. No one wants to play this format. Literally, nobody wants to play this format.
I think if they removed it from Worlds, you would definitely get some flack for it, but I think it would be overall positive, not negative. This later.
Yeah, if the ban list, they did a gotcha moment. They pulled the rug. They said, "Hey, we've been trolling this whole time."
Yeah.
The actual ban list is we're banning LL.
Yeah,
and
only CC or CC plus high seas draft. I think it would go over well.
Or Silver Age. You get 2 weeks to make a Silver Age deck. I would be down.
That's probably fine too.
I don't know. No, that would not be fine. You're just like being facetious at this
Why
point.
would that not be
But they
fun?
told us now, not on like the Band-Aid. That's too late.
If they said right now, oops, it looks like no one wants to play LL, we're gonna play Silver Age, people are gonna complain out the wazoo.
No,
It's
no,
gonna be
I would-
I
crazy.
think
not
it's
enjoy.
I think it's infinitely better than if they go to the Band-Aid and then make changes to the format. That's not even fixable to begin with.
I mean, I'm trying to think if how I would actually feel, because my initial reaction is also to agree with you that I would be very happy that we're gonna play Silver Age instead of playing LL. But that's just because none of us have ever played Silver Age.
Oh, I've been playing a bunch of games like in the past few days, and it's been a lot of fun. I made like 10 decks already.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've just been like thinking of what a shell would look like for a bunch of heroes. Like, what are the strong cards? It's just I want something to do. It's like we were talking about 20 minutes ago of like how it's boring in the current CC format. So it's like it's something fun to do to think about a different card pool. Different format.
I don't know. It's just too late to save the format unless they like straight up ban Rune Blades and Starvo and Dio, and then we'll see what's left. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll see what LSS does, because they definitely have the data that people have spoken that they do not want to play LL. No one wants to play it. There's no ProQuest. No one's traveling to the Battle Harden. They're saying that they didn't have the information, on how to balance the format even. So that's because no one wants to play it. So I guess the first time we're seriously playing it is at Worlds, and I'm at this point not even convinced that people are going to be playing it seriously at Worlds. It's like
I think everyone is like sacking their LL prep.
Yeah.
Until the last minute.
They're waiting to find out.
Yeah, maybe we can get some gentlemen's agreements to just not play LL in top 8.
True.
Now, unlike LSS, who does not have the data for LL, if you would like the data, this episode is brought to you by Fablazing.com, the only website that has the data. It has saved me over hundreds of hours of matchup testing. I know I watched you, Dan, and Raj going through Fablazing for Mario last night. Just like 2 or 3 hours of looking at data to figure out like, how do we want to play this matchup? Ooh, what are these cards doing in this matchup? And then talking about it and recording a video. So that's pretty cool. But it is invaluable for testing or even just selling arguments with your friends. If you want the power of data, visit fablazing.com, link below.
Why do you just change the way you say data when you go in Fablazing mode?
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, I noticed it. I'm triggered every time. People in the comments are triggered too. Because you literally, in the middle of your thing, you went out of the read and you were like talking about how Dan was looking at data. And then you're like, wait. No. I got to go back to being a robot. I got to say data again.
It's so that you'll ask questions because you're paying attention.
Okay. I've been waiting to ask this for like 4 weeks. I was like,
no,
surely you will notice.
There
will
is
stop at some point.
There is like an inside joke that's funny just to me about it as well. If you've ever played Star Wars, like the Old Republic online, like there is all the Imperials say data when they are talking about anything. Like that's just like how their phrase works. And so there's just a moment where you're seeing a cutscene and he's like the data, and it's just always stuck with me forever. So anytime I talk about like data that way, then I always mimic that voice.
I knew that it was very robotic how you were saying it. I didn't know it was just literally a robot.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's pretty funny. Cool. Let's go to some podcast questions then. Hopefully, something happens with LL. They just announced tomorrow. They listen to the podcast because they've
hopefully nothing happens.
They listen
but if
to the
something
podcast
needs
and they
to
go,
happen,
we're playing Silver Age. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to some podcast questions. These are asked by members of our premium Metafy. If you'd like to be able to ask questions on the podcast or get any of the 3 decks that we'll be publishing this month, which are Verdance, KO, and my gravy list with sideboards, feel free to join in the link below. First question here is going to be from He Who Smites. My locals are mauling over the state of LL. Obviously, no callings and very few ProQuests is bad choice by LSS. But I am curious from the perspective of pros testing for Worlds, is the gameplay of LL bad, or is it just lacking events, lessening the hype for the format?
So I played like 4 hours of games last night with Shane. And I've, like the stages of grief. I've gotten to the point of just acceptance now where I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. I'm going to play something that provides me the most joy from my side of the
Yep.
table and just largely ignore my opponent and just try to do the thing that's the most fun and hopefully results in wins. So it doesn't feel like very professional strategy. It's just kind of like, this is what brings me joy and hopefully success, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's the format.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
It is a world format. Just play what you want. Play your fun thing.
Yeah.
Well, play your fun thing if your fun thing is exactly
chain.
one of like 3 things.
Yeah.
Wardo77 has a flavor text challenge. The latest in Teklo Industries armament, guaranteed to leave a dent in your enemies and your wallet.
I clicked the hint correctly. He did more spaces this time, so I couldn't misclick. It was good. The hint is mechanologist, so
It sounds
not very
familiar.
helpful.
Well, that that I think was fairly obvious.
I think the only card in mech I know that has flavor text is Max V, because I'm always salty and picking it up and reading it and like, why is this a legal card in the game of Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, but the wallet part doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, this is definitely not the flavor text of that card.
No.
I'm trying to think what else has flavor
My
text.
head thought backup protocol, but that's probably not even close.
No, there's way too many words on that. It
Yeah,
can't have flavor text.
and it's typically always from one of the first couple of sets. They like stop
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
flavor text after that.
Sounds
You know, it
familiar,
could be
though.
that one where the dash is holding the gun pointed downward. They used to play back in the day. It's like it gets +1 for every time you boost it. I think it's called Overload, maybe? I could see that
Sounds
having
right.
some flavor text.
Maybe a nice hyperdriver.
You think
Does that
Hyperdriver has
text?
text?
I don't know. I don't read cards.
I usually just know when it has flavor text, but I couldn't tell you words that are on it.
Yeah, I can't imagine which one this actually is.
Blackout King?
Blackout King.
Yeah, maybe again.
Let's see. That makes sense. It's Payload.
Oh, the one from the supplemental set? The 2 for 6?
Yeah.
Okay, that's hot. That card was also played.
Is that the
as a
dominate
chain
one?
ender. Okay, I was close to my idea of a
that's
chain
the
ender.
dominate one.
I'm giving myself credit. I listed off 2 chain enders. It was a chain ender. Basically, I got it right.
I said mech cards. I think I was close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And a ninja card.
Okay.
And a ninja card. Amanda Q asks, I may be playing the Silver Age Battle Hardened in Seattle. What do you expect the initial meta of, say, Sage to be? What decks would you recommend I play or test for this event?
I think very conveniently, LSS made that collection of Silver Age decks, which gives you a decent idea of the meta. From what I've been playing initially, I think Rune Blades are decently strong. The fact that Nebula Blade exists as a card is like, you basically have a weapon that's 2 for 4 with a non-hit is pretty strong in a low power format where there's not that many D-reacts. I found that KO is pretty strong as well. Just a lot of the basic play patterns revolve just around the commons and rares. Ira as a ninja is obviously strong, and if you take a long game, you can play like the naive style with Siren of Safe Harbor and stuff, you know. So I would say those, and then they put Icelander as a Silver Age deck, but I'm not really sure how Wizards work without Waning Moon or a lot of ways of really playing on the opponent's turn, because I know Blaze is not legal, so I guess you can Crucible and Ice Bolt for 4, but that doesn't seem like very good.
Oh, hold on, you can Scolding for 5.
You can Scolding for 5, like Emeritus Scolding for 5.
Yeah. You have a bigger spell. That's 25% of their health.
I guess, but that's not that much.
Is it not?
I don't know. I just don't think you can like really burn people out by casting blues.
Well, it's not like the plan. That's like how you finish, right? You cast Wounding Bowls and Ice Veins, no?
You could do that, yeah. Yeah, it could be okay. But yeah, I think the meta is like very wide open. There's a lot of decks that are viable. The ones that have been most intriguing to me so far, though, have definitely been like Florian Viscerae, just like decks that can abuse split damage. Because one of like the stronger things in the format so far is basically every deck can free roll the Blade Beckoner pieces or have their own archetype pieces that can block for 2. So if you can give someone Null Rune, then you're basically like getting 2 free damage in by forcing them to respect your split damage. as well as like Azalea kind of neutralizing the whole Blade Beckoner piece of not actually having a real weapon while still being able to be aggressive. So yeah, basically a lot of deck survival. I know Cody's dozing off in his chair. He doesn't care at all. It's not any tournament he's playing, so who cares?
No, it's the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
I agree. All this sounds
Want
really
to care.
interesting, and it would probably be fun. I want to care.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So give me
Let's
a
play
reason
Live
to
Legend.
care. I have to play Living Legend and I have to play Worlds. So like I can't think about this format right now. Like it
Agreed.
feels like negative EV to think about this format.
I really do too, though. But I'm aligned with Cody.
But I want to
You get to play
explore
so
it.
many. You get to play so
Yeah.
many cool cards too. Like one of my favorite plays I did was I was playing Nebula Blade Florian, and I play the Runeblood Incantation, the one that ticks down every turn to make 2. And then when it's on its last counter, I can cast Splintering Deadwood, the 3 for 7 from Rosetta Limited, blow it up, make 2 rune chants. My attack hits, I blow up a rune chant, make 2 more. It's just like it's so cool and interesting, but not like OP.
It's Dirge at home.
Yeah, because Dirge is banned, obviously, because Read the Runes with Go again is very strong.
No, I want to sit down and just like play with the format, but like I can't do that right now. I mean, I could. It just my brain doesn't let me because I feel like I'm wasting time not
Agreed.
practicing for Worlds.
Fair.
So, just replace LL with Silver Age, and then let's get at it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
On the other part, I will say, $20 decks to get into Silver Age is pretty gas, and maybe this format will be like Armory playable.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
for
it's
sure
like one of
is.
the best ways of introing someone to the game, of just like giving them this deck that like is still powerful enough to feel like what a hero does, but it's not breaking the bank. And also, there's no fables, so I'm already approving it.
Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if my locals like
Mm.
at least had 1 or 2 weekends or weeks that had Silver Age in it.
Well, it sounds
that'd
like
be
this
cool.
is for sure going to be a Battle Hardened, almost definitely Callings, and it sounded like Pro Tours even. It's like,
Yeah, would be hype.
definitely played Armories. I thought the dev talk was like a lot of information I don't really care about right now because we're Worlds focused, but I thought this format is obviously a huge win.
Yeah, it's the timing's weird. It's like, yeah, this stuff's cool.
Yeah, buy this
You do
$20
re-
product.
You
That's
do
not
realize
relevant until
Worlds
next year.
is like happening in like 2 weeks, right? Like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
your formats are
I thought it was
dying.
insane. They said 0 words about LL in this dev talk. Like we've been waiting on a dev
Yeah.
talk for 1 trillion years, and then they're like,
Dude, when
okay, yeah,
so I was in the
Go
car
ahead.
with my brother driving home from ProQuest, and he was playing it on his phone. And when the first segment ended with Brian and James, I forgot there was more segments. And I thought they literally just came on to be like, here's a format, here's no details, buy this product, goodbye. And I was like raging. I was like, wait, but your formats are terrible. What's going on? And then they explained Silver Age, but nothing else about the current happening to the game. So I was like,
it's just weird because
I
like
don't know about
everything
that.
else is on fire and they're just coming in.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we got this cool Silver Age shit, and we're like, that is cool. What about the fire? We got this cool Silver Age shit.
Exactly. Well put.
Dude, this is fine.
Yeah. It's definitely
It
the right
is hype,
direction
though,
though,
that-
for new players though.
it's hype also that they're amping up the prize pool too. We didn't mention this, that they're adding another 500k juice.
Yeah, they keep
Yeah,
doing the
right.
we'll tell you later thing. That's fair. They did mention other things that are like super relevant to us competitive folk, but it was more like, here's this clip note, we'll tell you later.
Yeah, we're running out of time to tell us later.
There's been so many we'll tell you laters.
I don't know. I just tell me this after Worlds. I'd be so hyped.
Yeah.
It's just
Agreed.
like I can't. Blinders are on.
Yeah.
We're,
It's so
we're
not
getting in the home
relevant.
stretch.
Just tell us if they're making changes or not. That's all that matters.
Renzo asks, how big is your testing group for Worlds? I don't know, there's like 20 of us.
20.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 is about right.
Yeah.
20, and then all of us test with all of our locals. So like
Yeah.
400.
Our reach is like 50 probably, but yeah, 20 people like on the team I think are going.
Mhm.
It's weird. This format is so weird that it's like, there aren't really like secrets. Like you just like play decks. And it doesn't matter if you're it doesn't matter if people know what you're playing. Like people are just playing verdants, people are just playing gravy. The builds are kind of just there right now. And it's like there's Dio, there's KO, there's a bunch of other stuff. It's like we're all like Living Legend, people are like, yeah, I'm just playing Chain. Like this is like one of the least secretive worlds I've ever or like major events I've ever even seen. since the game started. And like no one cares. Everyone's just like, it's fine. I'm just gonna go play this.
Yeah.
Just think,
It feels more like you're just choosing a deck as opposed to like really breaking something open and solving a new concept.
and maybe
Yeah,
that's
just
just
card
us
gaming.
or the people we've talked about. Maybe someone did
Yeah,
say
we could all be idiots for sure.
we all could just be dumb. Yeah.
It's not only possible, it's likely.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's very possible we've just been sitting here banging our head against the wall trying to solve it, and someone else actually did.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike at Blockout Party says, "How many cards names contain the word swing?"
2.
No, it's way more.
No, it's way more than that.
Okay,
There's
wait.
all those
Here-
cards that no one's ever
It's so
played.
bad.
That's
Oh,
insane.
wait, hold on,
I'm
hold
gonna-
on.
I'm gonna-
The trees,
I'm going to rattle off the ones that I know. We got Swing Big.
Yep.
Reckless
Yep.
Swing. I think
Yep.
the two most
Yep.
obvious ones.
Swing Big Trade.
Swing First, Think Later. That one for 4.
Yep.
Mm.
Savage Swing. More Brute.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
there
Is the
more
Big
brute
Tree a
ones?
swing? Swing Big Tree?
No, that's Smash a Big Tree, I think.
Yeah, it's Smash.
Is it
the Big
Smash?
Tree. Yeah, it's Smash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then we got Warrior in the Swing.
unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Reckless Swing?
Isn't there like
Already-
swinging rampage or something like that?
No. Swing.
No. Second Swing. The Bolton
Yeah, good.
Monarch
Yeah.
card.
Nice.
That's 6. I got 6. Surely that's enough.
I'll guess 7.
You always guess one over.
Yep. There's always one.
What are you guessing,
Okay.
Cody?
I mean, it's probably 7. I think there's a swinging card.
Mm,
We'll see.
hold on. You're onto something there. There definitely is. I don't know what it is.
Okay,
I give
let's look. Let's look. 9.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, what did I miss?
Swing Big Tree?
No, a savage
No.
swing, reckless,
Got that one. Yep.
felling,
Felling Swing. That's the
Oh,
axe
yeah.
card. The 3 for 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. second swing,
I got that one.
Shaden swing.
Okay,
I
I,
believe-
know this one.
Yeah.
You know, I know this one. It's from Dusk Till Dawn.
That's
Yeah, I
right.
know.
I asked.
I
Jimmy to
know.
give
I
me
can see
all-
the art. It's like
all the rainbow foil commons. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 for 7.
Yeah. Yep.
Unlucky.
What big swing?
Swing Big. Yeah.
Swing big. Yeah. In the swing.
Mm.
Is that overswing?
Is that the Guardian 2 for 3 that you heave? Or am I crazy?
I think you're right.
Overswing.
Yeah. The new
Overswing and
pump
swing
with heave.
first.
That card strikes me as an overswing. 1 second, I'm looking it up. I'm the best host. I can't type. I'm fumbling. Someone
Oh.
say words. Yeah, get Mastery Pack Guardian. I'm a genius. Okay, let's go. 2 for 3. Well, Mike's the genius because he knew the answer actually, but
Yeah.
and Swing First, Think Later. Did I know that one? That's the one where
Yeah.
the 1 for 4, like it does not feel like a brute card at all, but it's a brute card.
Yep.
Mhm. That's Crucible, right?
It's lit. I didn't think there was that many.
King of Mice says, "Is everyone who is not part of the extensive testing team doomed to fail in tier 4 events, or does anyone have a chance of cashing with enough reps, good enough game plans?" This has been proven over and over again. You do not need to have to be in a big team to do well at a tier 4 event,
Especially this format. Like, we're all playing the same
especially
stuff.
this format. Yeah.
Yeah, the testing team is, I think, more just for discovering the secrets and keeping the secrets among the team. To me, that's like kind of the main value of the team is like, okay, we're going to figure something out that no one else has figured out, and only we are going to keep it to ourselves. But I just don't think that really exists in this format.
There's some
So,
game
I
planning,
think-
but yeah, agreed.
Yeah, game planning is some part of it, but I mean, like, there's nothing monumental that needs to be kept secret before tier 4. And I think, like, especially with this tier 4, I would say in the past, like tier 4s, because of the fact that there was draft, everybody in the world had access to a testing team because of our Discord. So like you could just test there for draft, and there's not really an excuse to be unprepared for draft. Shout out myself. And then the testing for like CC and whatever constructed format you're playing, I think a lot of it just comes down to like understanding what is good based on your own, self-awareness and whatever content you consume, and just becoming really, really proficient at whatever deck you choose to play.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. If the less people you have, the just more specific you have to be. That's really all it is. Like, if you only have 3 friends, it's you and your 3 friends doing it. You should just pick a deck, and then all 3 of you just work on that deck indefinitely. You can't flip flop and go around and a week before change to a different deck. Like, you can't do any of these shenanigans. Like, you just like lock in. You like, we're gonna play Verdance, all 3 of us, and we're just gonna work on Verdance for a month, and then like that's good enough. You can do great at a tier 4 event.
If that one deck doesn't get banned.
Yeah, if the one deck doesn't get banned.
To be fair, also, actually, if you're a smaller team like that, and like you said, you're all just going to play like, we're dedicated, we're all going to play like the exact same 80, basically. Maybe change 1 or 2 cards just to be like, haha, this one card is better than you. That's why I did better. You'll have probably more success than if you're trying to help someone out with their own deck and you're not actually playing that at the tournament. Your time itself is being more focused. So,
yeah. And then if you look at every tier 4 event and you look at the top 8, there are plenty of people there who are not on big teams. So it has been, I think, proven over and over again. Cool. Well, hopefully they switch out LL for Silver Age, and then we're all super happy about it. But I don't know. Besides that, I got some more chain coaching to do. So goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.